From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a severe weather alert.
All right, it is currently 8:32. I'm Fred Gossage in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We have a reissuance of the tornado warning in effect here. This is now for far western areas of Maury County, Tennessee, and the northeast corner of Lewis County, Tennessee. In addition to southeast Hickman County outside the viewing area, that runs until 9 o'clock. It looks like the rotation may be reorganizing a little bit. Just a second. While I make sure we're going to have sky cams ready. So just a second, we'll give this warning information here. All right, new tornado warning. This is going to go up for far northeastern areas of Lewis County, Tennessee, near the Maple Spring area. It's right there along the county line between Hickman and Lewis, near the Natchez Trace Parkway. Southern and eastern areas of Hickman County, and then far western areas of Maury County. That's going to be until 9 o'clock. The tornado warning does not include Hampshire. It does not include Arkland. It does not include any of those areas or east in Maury County yet. It clips the far west part of the county right near the Hickman line, north of Hampshire, west of Arkland. It does not include Spring Hill, Columbia, Mount Pleasant, Culleoka, any of those areas. They've just clipped. You see the red polygon here. It does clip the Williamsport area and the Maple Spring and Etna. The rotation is on the east side of Etna, Tennessee. We'll show you that here on radar. And it does still have an organized rotation here northeast of Etna and is held together pretty well. And that's moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. Do a storm track on here with times of arrival for the next 30 minutes if it holds together. And you can see why they didn't go too far into Maury County, Tennessee yet. Time of arrival for Maple Spring at 8:40, Jones Valley 8:54, Williamsport, Tennessee 8:55, Arkland 8:57, Water Valley 8:59, Gant 9:01, and Poplar Top 9:04. If you're in these areas, you need to be going through your tornado safety plan now. That's a small interior room, such as a bathroom, a hallway, or a closet on the lowest floor of a site-built structure near the center of that and away from windows until we get this storm on past you. I'll flip over to Links 1 here and show you what we've been watching on the Arctic Air Skycam network. And this is from Summertown, Tennessee. Now, I've got to get in here and fix the current condition things because our tech support guys with that have been doing some work. So ignore the numbers up in the little banner. We're working on that. They're adding some new parameters to it, and that's why everything looks funky right there. What we're watching is the actual Skycam itself, and that's a live shot. This is on top of the water tank that's near the Utilities Department off Highway 20 in Summertown. This is courtesy of the Summertown Utility District in Lawrence County. Lawrenceburg EMA have helped us. A bunch of different people in the general area have helped us with it. We're looking back northwest, and you see the lowered cloud base here. And this is the area we're going to be watching to see if anything tries to develop out of that. There is some scud hanging down of it out of it from time to time. I don't see anything that immediately looks like a tornado, but we will be watching that vigilantly over the next several minutes. Let me get my controls up for it in here. Whoop. Turn the sensitivity down and go back a little to the west again. There we go. All right, that's the updraft base we will be watching very carefully. We'll go back to Viper live Doppler radar here, and that rotation is off to the east of Etna now. And coming up on the area near and just north of Maple Spring. I think this is mainly going to miss Lewis County to the north. And right before this was issued, I did a radar post saying that the storm was staying north of Lewis County. It still looks like that's the case. The reason why they included this far northeast corner of Lewis County, Tennessee in the tornado warning is because sometimes storms can take a little bit of a right turn if they increase their rotation. And if it were to take a right turn, that would be skirting it very close to the Lewis County line here in that far northeast corner near the Maple Spring area. So it's a course of least regret, not because they full on expect it to move into Lewis County, but just because it's cutting it close and you have to give wiggle room. You have to give room for error. That's why they included northeastern portions of Lewis County. This does not, and I want to make this very clear so everybody can understand it. This does not include Hohenwald. This is that far northeast corner of Lewis County. The storm is over in the Hickman County right now. And then as far as Murray County is concerned, let me show you Murray County on radar. This is Murray County right here. That's the western border. That's the northern border and the eastern border. The tornado warning polygon is this flashing red box. You can see it does not include Hampshire. It does not include Poplar Top. It does not include Columbia. It does not include Mount Pleasant or Sandy Hook, or Broadview, or Campbell Station, or Culleoka, or Fountain Heights, or Lebanon Heights. It does not include Lanton. It does not include Spring Hill. It does not include Santa Fe. It does not include Pottsville or Lee's Corner. Now, if the storm holds together and moves east, they may have to extend a warning deeper into Murray County, but we're not to that point yet. It's really Williamsport and then west of Arkland and north of Hampshire, and the closest you can get to the Natchez Trace Parkway there on the county line between Murray County and Hickman County. That's the area where the tornado warning is in place. You may hear sirens through a large part of Murray County. You may hear sirens in Columbia. You may hear sirens in Mount Pleasant. You may hear sirens in Spring Hill. Your weather radio may be going off, but keep in mind those are county-based, not polygon-based. And tornado warnings are not issued for whole counties at a time. They're issued in these little outline areas where the threat actually is. With time, that may extend deeper into Murray County. We'll see how that goes. Right now, the rotation is maintaining itself. It's very broad looking, but it is maintaining itself. Let's see. Right, we had some suspicious looking scud hanging out of that and needed to see that clearly there for just a second. So no signs of a tornado down at this time, but a tornado could develop at just any moment. We are watching the rotating thunderstorm again. If you're in this far southeast part of Hickman County, Tennessee, if you're in far western parts of Murray County, Tennessee, you just need to be going through your tornado safety plan until we can get this storm out of here or until the storm weakens. That's going to a small interior room, such as a bathroom, a hallway, or a closet on the lowest floor of a site-built structure. You don't want to be in a mobile home. You don't want to be in a vehicle. You want to get out of those, head for sturdy structure. And if you're over here in this western part of Murray County, Tennessee, you have several minutes where you can head to a fast food restaurant or a 24-hour gas station that's a few miles down the road. And if you're over into like Poplar Top and Arkland and Columbia and Santa Fe in these areas, it's just a wait and watch situation right now. You have plenty of time to get ready to go to a safe place. You don't have to do that now. But if you're close to this rotation, if you're in that red flashing polygon, you need to be going through a tornado safety plan now. That's a small interior room such as bathroom, hallway, closet, lowest floor of the building, near the center away from windows. You want to cover your head and neck from flying debris to protect yourself in case a tornado does develop. And then you want to be out of vehicles. You want to be out of mobile homes. We'll go to the watch warning map that we have, and this is the only warning for any part of the area, that flashing red polygon there. That's a tornado warning till 9 o'clock. Notice that they have now added Murray County, Tennessee and Marshall County, Tennessee to the severe thunderstorm watch. Because of the little storm approaching, they just want a watch to be in place out ahead of that. That runs until midnight. Still, the primary severe weather risk staying off to the north of us. This is kind of the tail end storm on the little line. Additional storms will move in during the overnight, and one or two of those could be severe. But these initial storms here, they're just clipping the northern part of the area. Notice that we don't have any watches or warnings down here on the Highway 64 corridor of southern Tennessee. Hardin, Wayne, Lawrence, Giles, Lincoln, you're not involved in this at this time. Main threat staying off to the north. As the storms move in late night, there may be a stray warning, but the threat's extremely low. Same thing in North Alabama. We'll watch for the late overnight, but the threat is extremely low. The only warning we have is with this storm up here into southeastern areas of Hickman County. And I will tell you that the rotation is getting a little better defined here. Now, I will say that we are looking a few thousand feet above the ground level. So we're looking in the mid-levels, but that rotation is a little more organized. I'll see if we're within the scanning range of the live radar that we have out of Lawrenceburg. And yeah, looking in the low levels here, and this is still... All right, Chase is tilted this down. This is right just below 500 feet. We do have a low-level rotation. Now, it's broad a little bit, but there's a definite low-level rotation there. So there is a legitimate reason for there to be a tornado warning in place with this, given this radar signature that we have on the live X-band Doppler radar here, scanning out of Lawrenceburg. We'll take you back to Lynx 1. And that's the wall cloud that we're watching. That's our feature right here. It does look like it's a little more organized than it previously was. So we'll watch that very carefully. Have not seen anything hanging all the way to the ground. Have not seen power flashes under that feature. So no signs at the immediate moment that there's a tornado down. There have been some suspicious scud tags that have looked suspicious, but it hasn't actually been a tornado. We'll continue to watch that area very carefully, but for now, don't have anything on the ground with that. I will say that the rotational signature is a little bit stronger on radar. We'll go back to Viper Live Doppler, and we're seeing this here in real time with our X-band radar in southeastern areas of Hickman County. Keep in mind, we're scanning from Lawrenceburg, so these reds and pinks, that's winds moving northward and away from the radar, green moving toward. And notice that really tight area where you have the bright greens against the bright reds and the pinks. That's a pretty strong low-level rotation. And keep in mind, that's only 450 to 600 feet above the ground. So we're looking in the lower levels with that. And that's a pretty tight rotation. Seeing a rotation like that low to the ground, there could be a tornado developing out of this at any time. So we'll have to watch that very carefully. Again, if you're in this southeast corner of Hickman County, basically between Maple Spring and Tennessee Highway 50, in the southeast corner near the Trace is the Natchez Trace Parkway. People call it the Trace. You need to be in your safe place. If you're in that northeast corner of Lewis County, Tennessee, near the Hickman County line, you need to be in your safe place. And then over here into western Murray County, west of Arkland, north of Hampshire, west of Williamsport, you need to be in your safe place. And given that we have an organized rotation, I'll talk about some downstream areas from that in times of arrival. We will draw the storm fan just out ahead of the rotation, and then I will extend the track all the way out to 60 minutes. Now, I can't tell you it's going to hold together this entire time. This is just extended heads up for planning purposes. That's all this is. Maple Spring, 848, Williamsport, 902, Arkland at 904, Water Valley at 906, Gant, 908, Santa Fe and Poplar Top at 912. And then as you get farther out, the track expands because farther out in time, you have to give more wiggle room for error. That's why the cone gets wider here the farther out you go. Just like the hurricane tracks, the farther out you go from those, the wider it gets for room for error. Doesn't mean just because Columbia's on that little box that this is going to come for Columbia. That's not what that means. If it turns a little to the southeast, it may track more toward Columbia. If it keeps its current track, it's probably going to be north of Highway 412, but it will be near there by 923, probably just north, but near there by 923. Lebanon Heights is probably going to be north of you, but if it makes a southeast turn, your time of arrival would be 926. Jameson, it may stay to your south, but if it makes a left turn, 926, Neapolis 929, Beech Grove 930, Atlanta 931, and I think this is going to be south of Spring Hill, but again, if it makes a left turn, projected time of arrival would be roughly around 934. That's for planning purposes. I can't tell you there's going to be a tornado warning going that deep into Murray County, Tennessee, but if this continues to hold together, there could be a need for that as we go forward. Again, tornado warning continues for southeastern areas of Hickman County, Tennessee. The rotation is just to the north of Maple Spring by about 1.5 miles to almost 2 miles. So it's just a little north of Maple Spring, and that's moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. This will be coming near Arkland and Williamsport in Murray County if it holds together. So if you're in those areas in particular, you need to be in your safe place just in case this holds together, just in case this tries to drop something. I'll go back to the Arctic Air Skycam network on links 1. We're still watching that lowered cloud base, but not necessarily as organized as it once was a few minutes ago. Yeah, it's much broader. Everything is broadened out now compared to what it looked like several minutes ago. So we don't have nearly as organized of a wall cloud as we previously did. That doesn't mean it can't organize quickly. It's just for right now, things are a little broader. So we'll be watching that carefully. Go back to the next rad here from Nashville, and yeah, structure is a little more messy than it once was, but there's definitely still a rotating updraft there. And you notice it's triggering our little algorithms, the orange arrow and the shear marker cylinder. It's triggering all that. The mid-level rotation is definitely intensified. The low-level rotation is a little bit broader, and it looks broader on the Skycam. We'll have to watch that carefully. Again, tornado warning continues here for about another 10 minutes for southeastern areas of Hickman County, Tennessee, far western areas of Murray County, Tennessee, and the far northeast corner of Lewis County. But I can tell you, it's probably not going to go into Lewis County. There could be some gusty winds right near the county line, but this is staying north of Lewis County, and it's close enough now to where it would have to turn 90 degrees and move due south in order to get into the county. So northeastern Lewis County, I think this is going to stay to your north, and if you were sheltering, I think it's safe for you to come out. Southeast Hickman County, it's not safe to come out. The Hickman County, you're not actually in the viewing area. It's just we're talking about you here while we're here. They have just removed, National Weather Service agrees with me here about Lewis County, and they've taken Lewis County out of the warning. They've trimmed it back. This is staying north of Lewis County. But the southeast corner here of Hickman County, and then this little tiny sliver of western Murray County, pretty much from Arkland and Williamsport westward, that little sliver, that's where you need to be in shelter. And then it's a wait and see mode east of there to see if this continues to hold together. Tornado warning expires in 9 minutes. For now, they're going to hold it together, hold it on there. They're watching to see what it does, to see if they need to reissue it downstream or if they can step back to a severe thunderstorm warning. We're not at the point to where we know that answer just yet. Hopefully, within the next few minutes, we will be, but we're not to that point where that decision is clear just yet. We'll go back to the Arctic Air Skycam network on links 1. We do still have our lowered updraft base and our wall cloud there. It's not as low as it was, but it is still there, and that's the feature that we would watch. Now, again, if you're just watching this, ignore the numbers up on the banner. What that is that is processed by our graphic system by CSV. comma separated values. And the guys that do our tech support for this have been adding new parameters in, and we just haven't redone the CSV file yet. So it's not matching the parameters correctly. That's a 60-second fix. That's not a big deal. There's nothing wrong there. They're just adding new parameters to that, and that just needs to be refreshed. That's something I can't do on the fly at this very second, but that's something I can do quickly once this warning is over. So that's the situation. Very broad wall cloud there. It's actually not as organized as it was when we flipped there 30 seconds ago. I will tell you on the radar, the overall rotation, I'll turn our algorithms off here, our little dummy lights. I can tell you that rotation is still organized there. You have a strong outbound in red right next to a strong outbound in the bright green here. So that's a pretty tight looking rotation still. As we expect, since we don't see a tornado down on cam, I don't see anything on correlation coefficient. We'll go to the live radar, and we still have our low level rotational signature here on the live velocity from the live Doppler radar. I will tell you it's not as tight as it was 10 minutes ago, and this is looking much lower into the atmosphere than the next rad data is. So that gives us a lower slice. That radar beam where that rotation is only 461 feet above the ground. You're not looking several thousand feet with that. Chase tilted the radar down, getting ready for the storm to come in, and we're looking under 500 feet. Tennessee Valley weather is the reason you have that low-level radar data there. That's our live X-band scanning from Lawrenceburg, scanning up into that. And that's a rapidly updating radar that doesn't wait every 5 minutes. We get a scan roughly on a day like today every 20 to 30 seconds. You see the sweep going around there again. So that's live velocity data there. And we do have a low-level rotation, but it is a bit broad. It doesn't look like there's a tornado down. What we see on the Skycam doesn't look like there's a tornado down at this time. But if it tries to tighten up, then that could change. So we'll be watching that very carefully. I will tell you that the structure, as far as the reflectivity, the storm structure, it's not as impressive as it was when this warning was first issued. When the warning was first issued 10, 15-ish, maybe 20 minutes ago, there was a pretty clear hook like appendage on the backside. That's gotten a lot more messy now. We don't have nearly as clean inflow into it. Things have gotten muddled here, and we're a little closer to the radar than we were when the warning was first issued. So we're looking a little lower down than we were when the warning was first issued. And it's actually gone the opposite way of what you would expect if there was actually organization there. But it's still rotating, and we need to play it safe. We'll see what the National Weather Service does over the next few minutes. They have 5 minutes before this tornado warning is set to expire. Again, this is a tornado warning for southeastern areas of Hickman County and a tiny sliver of western portions of Murray County, Tennessee, only out there west of Williamsport and Arkland, and includes nobody else in the county right this second. That goes for another 4.5 minutes until 9 o'clock. We have not gotten word from the National Weather Service if they're going to reissue this past 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, it's a possibility. I will say that given that everything has broadened out again, they may step this back to a severe thunderstorm warning. We'll see. But as of right now, I see nothing hanging out of the lower base on the Skycam. The rotation has broadened out, and the structure not nearly as organized as what it once was. Still, until we can get this tornado warning off the board, if you're in the southeast corner of Hickman County, Tennessee, or if you're in this far west sliver of Murray County, you need to be in your safe place still. And then those of you that are wondering, if you're wondering why we're not talking about Savannah or Waynesboro or Lawrenceburg or Loretto or Pulaski or Fayetteville or down into North Alabama, there's nothing going on. Radar is quiet in all of these areas. The only storm that we have of concern is this one here in Hickman County we've been watching. And they are going to issue a new tornado warning until 9:30 that will probably go deeper into Murray County, Tennessee. So they are going to hold the tornado warning here. Now, if it broadens out, then they may be able to cancel it early, but this is going to be extended until 9:30. We'll get the polygon here in just a second. This is going to include far southeastern or eastern areas of Hickman County, and then some yet to be determined portion of northern Murray County. That's now a tornado warning until 9:30. So if you're just joining us here, if your weather radio is just going off, if you're just hearing sirens, once again, Fred Gossett here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We are in extended severe weather coverage for a tornado warning that has been in effect for a little while now for Hickman and Murray counties. It has now been extended until 9:30, and it includes a few more communities. They've included places like Arkland and Santa Fe and Gant. And they brought it to near Poplar Top and the northwest side of Columbia. It includes Water Valley as well. So it's the new red polygon. That's a tornado warning for southeastern areas of Hickman County and western and northwestern portions of Murray County. That's until 9:30. It still does not include downtown Columbia. It still does not include Hampshire storms staying north of there. It does not include places like Mount Pleasant or Sandy Hook or Broadview or Campbell Station or Culleoka or Bryant Station. It doesn't need to. It does not include Spring Hill. It's this red polygon area here to the northwest of Columbia. We'll do a storm track with times of arrival. Once again, and for the next 30 minutes, here are projected times of arrival. Williamsport, 9:08. And let me see if there are any smaller communities that will pop up here in just a second. Yeah, here we go. We'll get all the small communities here. Kettle Mills, 9:01. Greenfield Bend, 9:02. Chartersville, 9:06. Lovetown, 9:07. Fikes Mill, 9:08. Williamsport, 9:08. Arkland, 9:10. Water Valley, 9:12. Gant, 9:14. Santa Fe, it may be just south of there, but it'll be close to you by 9:19. And Poplar Top, it will need to take more of a southeast turn, but it may be just to your north by 9:19 as well. And then I think it's mainly going to stay north of downtown Columbia, but it may be on the north side, and that's still a populated area. We will be watching that very carefully. Still, not seeing anything hanging out of the immediate updraft base on the Arctic Air Skycam. And it's still a little far out for me to see anything clearly on the Columbia cam at this time. So we're going to stick with radar at this moment. But again, we have our broad rotation here. We'll go to storm relative velocity and look at what this looks like. Yeah, this has gotten a lot weaker within the past 5 minutes here, and it's gotten a lot broader as well. We'll see if this tries to tighten back up, but this has gotten a lot less organized over the past 5 minutes, and I wouldn't be surprised if this trend continues, if they're allowed to downgrade the warning to a severe thunderstorm warning. We'll see what happens. Don't come out of your shelters yet. If you're in these areas like Arkland and Williamsport and Gant and Santa Fe and Water Valley and Jones Valley, don't come out of your shelters yet, because we need to see trends with this. We need to watch it over several minutes to see if it tries to tighten back up or if it continues to weaken. But for now, this is not as organized. This is not as strong looking as it was even 5 or 10 minutes ago, which is certainly a good sign, because we don't want a tornado to happen here. It needs to look tighter. It needs to look stronger in order for you to expect a tornado to be here. And we're also losing the hook that we had. There's a bit of an inflow notch here. It's not nearly as organized as earlier. When that warning was first issued about 30 minutes ago, that hook looked like this, and it's nowhere near that now. So it does not have the organization that it once did. That's a broad rotation. We'll slice down to the lower levels, and it's a lot broader and a lot weaker than it was here 5-10 minutes ago, which is certainly good news. If that trend continues, then they may be able to step away, but you can't downgrade a tornado warning and take it off the board just because one radar scan doesn't look as good as the one before it. You have to watch for trends, because a lot of times these things cycle. They'll go through a cycle where they trend up and they trend stronger and they trend tighter. And then they may broaden out, weaken for a little bit, and then they may come right back. So just because it broadens out here, Doesn't mean that you get rid of the tornado warning just because it does that for a couple radar scans. You have to watch it over several radar scans for several minutes, and that's what we'll be doing. That's what the National Weather Service in Nashville will be doing as well. And again, if you're watching us here or across the viewing area, this is the only storm of concern. We'll put on the area radar. There's nothing else across any other part of southern middle Tennessee. All of North Alabama is quiet, and all of northeast Mississippi is quiet. It's this one storm here coming out of Hickman County into western Murray County that has this tornado warning at this time. There will be more thunderstorms overnight. There's not a big severe weather threat. It's a small severe weather threat, but there could be a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings for the overnight anywhere in the viewing area, southern Tennessee or North Alabama. And there could still be a stray tornado warning, but that chance will be really tiny overnight. We've had multiple forecast updates about this through the day that you can find on the Facebook page and our YouTube and everything. This is something we haven't just had out of the blue. We've been talking about this. We do expect more storms overnight. We don't expect a big problem from them, but we'll have to watch them carefully for maybe something that tries to get its act together overnight. We're losing the light with the cameras now, so we're not going to be able to focus as much on the sky cams. We'll still watch them behind the scenes for things like power flashes and such, but we're not able to watch them as clearly as what we otherwise would be able to. So again, tornado warning continues. In a couple minutes, this is going to be out of Hickman County, so give this 5 more minutes in Hickman County, and then the rotation will be out of your area and solidly over in the Murray County. But this tornado warning continues for western Murray County until 9:30. The rotation is even weaker and broader than the last radar scan. It is trending down. We will have to watch to see if it spins back up. This is something we have to watch over several scans. But for now, the trend is our friend, is that it's trending broader, it's trending weaker. I still don't want you to let your guard down. We'll do another time of arrival track here ahead of the rotation. And take it east at 30. This will be near Williamsport at 9:06 here in 2 minutes, near Arkland at 9:09, near Water Valley at 9:12, near Gant at 9:14, near Santa Fe at 9:17, near Columbia at 9:29, but I think it's going to be a little north of there by just a touch. I think it's going to be a little touch to the south of Jameson by 9:31, and it will be near the Neapolis area and near Lanton by 9:33 to 9:35 if it holds together. But for now, it's been on a downhill trend with intensity. We'll be watching that very carefully. I would like to bounce back and forth with the sky cams for you, give you some pretty pictures to watch. We really don't have any pretty pictures to look at here. I can show you the sky cam on Lynx 1 where you're still focusing on that. 73 degrees is the temperature. Dew point is 70 here. We're looking back off to the north toward this thing, but you can see we've lost the light and we can't see the structure. Now, one good thing is we're not seeing power flashes at the ground, so we're not seeing that usual telltale sign that we may have something down doing damage, so that is certainly good news as well. We'll go back to Viper Live Doppler radar. All right, National Weather Service notes that it may be cycling, so they're going to hold on here for a few more minutes and watch trends and see what it does. Get it a little closer to where they can look at the Huntsville radar as well and kind of look at both radars between the Nashville radar and the Huntsville radar and do a side-by-side comparison. We'll take it to the live X band, and this thing does not look like a shell of itself here as it once did. And we're scanning the lower levels. Again, we're scanning roughly, give or take, 500 feet or so, and things are much more broad and much weaker on the X band data, scanning at the low levels. And I will pass that on to the National Weather Service while we are here. But again, we do have this broad rotation that we're watching carefully. This is crossing out of Hickman County into western Murray County as we speak. The rotation here in the low levels, the broad rotation we have is actually right here at the point where Tennessee Highway 50 intersects the Natchez Trace Parkway, and then it's right on the line between Hickman County and Murray County. So that's crossing the county line as we speak. Again, it's a very broad rotation that we have on radar there. We'll go back to the Nashville Next Rad, and we just don't have the structure that we once did. But again, we do still have that broad rotation, so we need to watch that carefully. The closer we look at this, it looks like this may stay just a touch to the north of Arkland, a touch to the north of Gant. This is going to be very close or just north of Williamsport. It's going to be very close to the Little Fikes Mill community. It's coming over the Chartersville area now. And then it looks like from Water Valley to Santa Fe southward, that's your area of concern as well. I know the polygon itself goes all the way up here to Hilltown and Johnson's Mill, but the rotation is clearly south of there. It's south of Bethel. It's south of Kinderhook. And keep in mind, all of this is still off to the northwest of Columbia, and Columbia proper still not in a tornado warning polygon, even though part of Murray County is included. And that will get your weather radios to sound through the entire county. And that can get the sirens to sound in other parts of the county as well, because those are legacy-based systems. But the tornado warning itself is only this red boxed-in area, and that's only that western and northwestern part of the county there. Again, that does not yet include Columbia proper, and I think the storm is going to stay north of there. It does not include Hampshire, does not include Mount Pleasant, does not include Sandy Hook. It does not include Spring Hill at this time, and I think the storm may stay just to the south of there. It does not include places like Holyoke and Campbell Station. It doesn't need to. It's coming out of eastern Hickman County into this far western part of Murray County. National Weather Service continues to note what we see, that the radar presentation is very messy and disorganized. So they're watching it for trends, but if these trends continue, they may be able to step away from this having a tornado warning. They just can't do this immediately. They have to wait for several radar scans to make sure this is an actual trend and it's not just the storm going through a cycle and then it comes right back to be intense again. There have been a few reports of trees down back in the Perry County earlier with this storm. That could have been from straight line wind, or it could have been a small tornado that touched down, not sure. Haven't heard of a lot of damage as the storm has come across Hickman County. And even though we had a tornado warning earlier in Lewis County, that was more of a just in case because it was near the county line with Hickman County. It stayed just to the north off in Hickman County. It never actually got into Lewis County. You have to give storms a wiggle room. You have to give them a little space in case they turn a little left or in case they turn a little right. And that's why they were putting far northern Lewis County in a warning. As of right now, not seeing anything super organized with this. The velocity from the Nashville Next Rad is even weaker looking, and it still looks very broad and disorganized on our live Doppler radar scanning from Lawrenceburg as well. So here for the next few minutes, I want you to still stay in your safe place. If you live here, Williamsport, Arkland, as far south as Gant, near Santa Fe and Water Valley, just as a course of least regret. But I will tell you that the tornado signature does not look remotely close to as organized as it did back in Hickman County. And if that remains the same, the tornado warning may be pulled early because this may be winding down. We'll see how that goes here over the next several minutes. Keep in mind, this is the only storm we're watching. There are no other severe storms across any part of southern Middle Tennessee. There's not even a raindrop at this moment across any part of North Alabama. It's quiet. There will be additional storms later into the overnight and early morning hours, but for now, this is the only thing that we're watching. Still haven't heard any damage reports. Let me look back through There was a public report in Hickman County or the Shady Grove area of a tornado earlier. So there was one public report of that. Let's see. Have not seen any actual damage reports coming out of Hickman County at this time. That's good news. We don't want damage. So that's certainly good news. We're continuing to watch the radar trends. Things are looking a lot less organized here. But again, tornado warning continues until 9:30 for northwestern parts of northwestern parts of Murray County and far eastern areas of Hickman County in Tennessee. Give it 5 more minutes and the rotation will be out of Hickman County and solidly over into Murray County. If you're just tuning in here, you're wondering what in the wide world of sports is going on. Fred Gossage here on the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel. We're continuing extended severe weather coverage for a tornado warning for northwestern areas of Murray County, Tennessee, and far eastern Hickman County, Tennessee, until 9:30. That's the only warning we have. And I'll tell you what, instead of zooming out on the radar, we'll just go to the watch warning map and do that as an overview. For those of you just joining us here, the flashing red polygon you have, that includes northwestern Murray County. It's northwest of Columbia. It does not include Columbia proper, but northwestern Murray County, Tennessee, southeast Hickman County. That's a tornado warning that for now goes until 9:30. I wouldn't be shocked if they pull it early. And then until midnight, we have a severe thunderstorm watch that in our viewing area includes Murray County and Marshall County in Tennessee, and then on north through a large part of north and northeastern Tennessee. If you're watching us in Lewis County, Hardin County, Wayne County, Lawrence County, Giles County, Lincoln County, Tennessee, there are no watches, no warnings, no storms in those counties at this time. If you're watching us in any of our North Alabama viewing area counties, Lauderdale, Colbert, Limestone, Lawrence, Franklin, Morgan, Madison, no watches, no warnings. Things are quiet. The same thing for back in Tishomingo County, Mississippi. There are no watches, no warnings at this time. Storms are possible later into the overnight. It's a really low severe weather threat, but can't rule out a couple more warnings overnight. Mainly, probably it would be severe thunderstorm warnings if we do get them overnight, but tornado threats never completely zero anytime you have a severe thunderstorm warning. But the threat of a tornado threat of severe storms during the later overnight, it's really on the low side of things. But we'll be here overnight to watch things carefully. So National Weather Service is going to give it 1 or 2 more volume scans, and then if it continues to weaken like this, they're going to remove the tornado warning. But they do mention the truth that it's a long track rotating storm, so they're going to give it time to make sure it's not going to try to cycle back up. We haven't seen any signs of that, but they're going to give it 1 or 2 more scans to make sure, which is a safe thing to do, and it's even less organized on the low-level velocity that we have scanning from Lawrenceburg that's scanning only about 500 feet above the ground. That's a really low-level slice at this, and we don't see anything that looks like a tornado, which is certainly good news. So it's very possible that here over the next few minutes, they may be getting ready to remove this tornado warning, either downgrade it to a severe thunderstorm warning or cancel it altogether. We'll see what the National Weather Service decides to do. They'll probably go severe thunderstorm warning if they make that decision. But they're doing the right thing of giving it another scan or two to make sure it's not going to try to tighten back up. Again, the reason why we're not flipping back to the Skycam network, our Arctic Air Skycam network, we've lost the daylight outside. We can't see anything out there. So we're having to rely on radar. And when we're relying just on radar, I know a lot of people don't like to pay attention to the warnings unless they can see something down. You can't really do that at night most of the time. You have to rely on the relationship that we've built together over these last 5 years, where we have done the best we've been able to be trustworthy with you, so that on situations like this, when we tell you, hey, you need to seek shelter, or hey, it's going to be okay, that you already know there's a layer of trust there so you can trust us. At nighttime, we can't see everything, so we have to play it safe and you have to trust us a little more than you just wanting to run outside and see if you see something. All right, so they mentioned that it's definitely falling apart now, so they are going to downgrade this to a severe thunderstorm warning and step away from the tornado warning. That should come out here over the next couple of minutes. So what we're going to do, we're going to hold it here and wait for the severe thunderstorm warning to come out. We're going to give that information, and then we're going to discontinue the live nonstop coverage here since they mentioned that the tornado threat's falling apart and they're about to downgrade it. So that's the situation here. They are about to discontinue the tornado warning and go with a severe thunderstorm warning in Murray County, Tennessee instead. That should be coming across here at any minute. And then we'll watch it behind the scenes and see if it tries to spin back up again later down the road. All right, they're actually going to step down. They're not even going to do a severe thunderstorm warning. They're going to step below that and do what we call here at Tennessee Valley Weather a heavy thunderstorm advisory. It's a special weather statement. What that means is that the storm is not to severe levels, but it's strong and it's attention grabbing. And usually those are issued for when wind gusts may be 40, 45 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour, or hail is not quite to a quarter size, it's below that, or they're just getting your attention about a thunderstorm, something like that. They have gone ahead and they are canceling the tornado warning for Murray and Hickman County. So tornado warning for Murray and Hickman counties is no longer in effect, and they're just going to go with a special weather statement. So no severe thunderstorm warning, no tornado warning, and the storm is no longer considered to be severe. We'll continue to watch it very carefully behind the scenes, and should things change, should new warnings be issued, or should the rotation try to tighten back up here, we will be back at a moment's notice with live coverage as necessary. Fred Gossett here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. Stay with Tennessee Valley Weather. We'll keep you advised.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.